But another team that has been steadily climbing up the ladder, the big Walnut Golden Eagles, they were at home again tonight, and they had a rivalry contest going down. And of course, the voice of those Golden Eagles, the man with the golden voice, there he is, and looking rather dapper here for 12:20 p.m. Mr. Bryce Coder, how are you, sir? Fantastic. So break it down for me. Westerville North over at the Eagles Lair tonight. What was your expectations for this one and how did it play out?
Yeah, so last year, a really controversial game went all the way into overtime where Big Walnut was leading by 2 touchdowns, but Westerville North came back and ended up losing in overtime. But this year, a little bit different. Westerville North graduating some folks out and starting us off on 4th and 13 in the first quarter. Eli Stump falling away, airs it out to Gavin Harrington. Dan Gamble, we got Curtis Gamble over on our sideline. And this is a great story here. Jackson Bowers, his second game, played limited snaps last game, was actually hurt in the Westerville North basketball game back in December and hasn't played, was working on his recovery, hurt his knee there, coming in for the touchdown tonight. And TJ Minor off the line in a heartbeat, coming in for the safety. Eli Stump rolling back for a receiver, but instead he just decides to take it himself as he tucks it in. And then the man himself, Nolan Burley, on a 54-yard run as soon as they get the ball. And we've been calling him Nolan Bunyan Burley, like Paul Bunyan. He's so strong the way he chops down the defensive line. And no different there, 54 yards, his 18th touchdown of the season. Final passing touchdown for Eli Stump of the night. He had 3, and he finds Owen Pollock on the RPO, a quick pass over the middle. Griffin Wolf for Westerville North ended up making the field goal, so that's where we ended at 37-3.
Eli Stump really coming into his own these last few weeks. I love watching the highlights. He's got such great pocket awareness. Of course, we know that he's got a fantastic arm. And a little text message that you shared with me, Toledo's got some interest in him. Penn State is taking a look at him. So talk to me about this quarterback and what you're seeing from him now that we're 8 weeks into the year. It seems like he's having a pretty special campaign. He's catching the eye of some dudes at the next level, some big-time programs.
Yeah, I mean, he's added so many aspects to his game just in this season alone. It seems like every single game he's maturing more and more in his decision-making, his ability to tuck it and take it. I mean, keep in mind, he's up and over 200 rushing yards at this point on the season. In week 3, he only had -9 rushing yards. So it's something that he's added relatively recently, and also airing it out. You know, this was an offense early on in the season that really relied on Nolan Burley, but they would work off of him in the screens, wide receiver screens, but now they're really giving the trust to Eli Stump to be able to throw the ball. And with that first touchdown of the game that we had tonight, I mean, that was really a play that he let develop for a long time. He felt the pressure, he rolled out of the pocket and found a receiver that didn't have the guy within 10 yards of him. So it's really amazing to see him progressing.
Yeah, in this offense, it seems like they're clicking on all cylinders right now, Bryce, and had a couple of conversations here about few teams here in the area. Shelby, a complete team. Gallium, we feel, is like that. Ashland, we just talked about. This team, not only are they getting it done on offense since week 2, where they've been over 35 points just about every week, only once where they had 28, but defensively, that's where it doesn't seem like they're getting that much credit, or at least we're not talking about it quite as much. They've got some absolute dogs up front, and then on the back end, we know that they're pretty special too. So great balance, and they play that combination style of football. Complementary, I think, is what a lot of coaches like to say. So this team, it seems like, again, destined for greatness and checking all the boxes now with just 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, and you look at the records combined, they're beating their opponents by almost 200 points this season. So not only are they beating the brakes off of teams, they're going for the rotors and the wheel bearings. I think I saw Nolan Burley go for a catalytic converter earlier tonight. I mean, they are just dismantling teams with how well they've been playing. And exactly like you're saying, I mean, they have TJ Minor, who's kind of been the headline on the defensive line, but their linebacker core is so strong. And even in the defensive backs, guys like Brady Taylor, who already has 4 interceptions on the season, guys like Will Clausen and Clint Stover, and Eli Helton. I mean, all of those guys have over 40 tackles on the season. So like you said, that is really an understated part of their game is the defense.
And they've been able to climb the ladder, Bryce, after that Week 1 loss. Let's take a look at Region 7 now. Look at how close the Golden Eagles are to Ashland, who's still undefeated. I mean, that is razor thin between those two programs. Ashland does have the benefit of they will likely be playing an 8-1 team in Week 10. You look at the rest of the way for Big Walnut. Dublin-Scioto, they've got 5 wins, and then Westland, they've got 4 coming up the next 2 weeks. So depending on how it all shakes out, certainly you feel like Big Walnut is going to get a first-round bye, but they've got potential too, Bryce, to be the #1 overall seed.
Yeah, very much that can be done. I mean, they're focused on the conference play with next week's game. They should be able to clinch that. And then moving on against Westland, I mean, they have a relatively easy schedule the rest of the season. So you could potentially see a spot where they take that.